Hello Internet, welcome to Left 4 Dead 2. Been a lack of content on the channel, thought I'd record something just nice and easy. Kind of had an urge to play this again. It's been a long time since I played Left 4 Dead. We're going to play single player. I still don't really know the rules on recording other people without getting their permission. I don't feel comfortable doing it, so let's jump into it. It looks, man, there used to only be like 4 campaigns. Looks like they've added the Left 4 Dead 1 campaigns. I do really like the Left 4 Dead 1 campaigns. Maybe we'll play one of those. I liked all of the Left 4 Dead 1. Let's just go No Mercy. That's a classic, right? That's the hospital one. Oh, and you play as the original. So it's just Left 4 Dead 1, but in the skin of Left 4 Dead 2. Okay, well, we'll be Francis, because Francis was my guy. Let's start. Normal sounds fine. I haven't played in a long time. Alrighty. Man, I grew up with Left 4 Dead. We loved zombie games when I was a teenager, and we would play quite a lot. It was, back then it was rare to find like a good co-op game, and Left 4 Dead in my mind still remains one of the best cooperative shooters ever. Like, ever. It's so good. And we would play as teenagers. My one friend was always Bill, because he was a salty old soul. My God, that's loud. I have it down to about a fifth of what my normal volume is, so that's pretty crazy. Looks like we still have the melee weapons from Left 4 Dead 2, so that's nice. Shut up, Bill. You know, the baseball bat, I remember pre-ordering Left 4 Dead 2. It's one of the only games I ever pre-ordered. One of you didn't pick up a med... Zoe. Oh, did I not pick up? Why are there 5 med kits then? What an odd thing. Okay. Mouse sensitivity is a little low, but that's alright. Oh, and we should pick up the melee weapon, I guess, because that replaces our pistol, right? Yeah. Okay, down we go. We'll go with the SMG for the time being. I usually play with shotguns, but because I'm playing on mouse and keyboard, like I played this growing up using the Xbox, and the shotgun was just a little bit easier without mouse look. When you're trying to fire with a controller, it's a little difficult to hit exactly on your target, so the shotguns were better. I think for PC, it's probably better to use the rifles and things, so we'll be doing that. I do own all of these on both the Xbox and the PC, Left 4 Dead 1 and 2. I'm a big fan of the series, and they are frequently on sale on Steam. Okay, that guy doesn't want us to open the door, I guess. Frequently on sale on Steam. If by some miracle you've never played Left 4 Dead, you should definitely pick them up. I believe I got them both. I don't know what the melee button is. Oh, I see. It's a right mouse button. Please don't shoot me in the spine. It's extremely rude. There's a shovel. I don't remember there being a shovel in Left 4 Dead. We'll take that. Yeah, I remember pre-ordering Left 4 Dead 2. It's one of the only games I've ever pre-ordered. And the pre-order bonus was the baseball bat, which honestly is not a very good reward. Okay, I hear the horde. Okay, they're going to come that way. So we'll let our AI teammates deal with that. Adrenaline. I don't remember the difference between pills and adrenaline, but alright. My hand appears to be stuck saluting in a vaguely offensive way. So we do, it's basically the Left 4 Dead 1 campaigns, but with the Left 4 Dead 2 enemies and guns and stuff. That's pretty cool. Hopefully we'll be able to find the AK and the other upgraded weapons and not just the ones from Left 4 Dead 1. Because I really like the AK in this game. It's one of my favorite weapons. I hear the hunter. One of my favorite weapons because it was strong enough to kill most of the basic infected with one body shot. There's a guy there. Hello. Bonk. Yeah, it's a great game. They are frequently on sale on Steam. You can pick them up for, I think I got both of them for about $2 total. It was a bundle of both. I hear the smoker, I think. Oh, it's a jockey. Hello, jockey. Okay. So why am I playing Left 4 Dead? Well, I don't really know what to play. I'm still kind of in a place where I don't really want to play Cataclysm. I don't know how like Vormithrax does it. He's basically played Cataclysm every day for, you know, years, and put up content every day for years. I don't know how he does it. I get really sick of the games I play. I like to keep up some variety. Problem is on YouTube, most channels don't go for variety. Most channels pick one game and play that same game over and over and over. I hear you, Spitter. And it's a little bit difficult to get people incentivized to watch other kind of content, especially when you are just kind of a one content person. I hear the witch. Hello, madam. I don't know how I'm supposed to get past her. Oh, she's groaning. I should back up. Bill startled the witch. Of course he did. Good job, Bill. Now we had to murder this poor lady. Love the witch music, though. Pistols, no thank you. I think there's a Magnum in Left 4 Dead 2. I don't remember. Like a big, like, Desert Eagle style handgun. Obviously, the main draw of this game was the melee weapons when the game came out. It was a weird thing that had not been in the first game that a lot of people really liked. I'm not a huge fan of the melee weapons, just because they do make the game a little bit... It's a little easy to just put your back against the wall and swing over and over and over. I prefer shooting things. So I guess we'll give the shotgun a try. I'm noticing some stutters when the game loads. Hopefully that's not too bad in the recording. So we are in the subway. Pop this baby open. You know, I haven't used this shovel. Let's bonk somebody. Excuse me, madam. Shove them back. She dead. Alright. So I don't love the shovel. The attack speed was a little low. I missed. Okay, the shotgun was a mistake, I think. I would much prefer having a faster firing weapon. The shucking of the shotgun between rounds is a little bit... I'm stuck. I'm stuck. Great. Let me off the ladder, please. Can I just go out? I can. So let's just go out here. Hello. I'm alone, so getting hit by the hunter would be very bad. Man, I'm missing even point blank with the shotgun. Super exciting. It's interesting because I've been playing Doom 3, and in Doom 3, the shotgun is one of the most inaccurate guns I've ever seen in a video game. So it's kind of weird to be missing because the shotgun is more accurate than I'm expecting it to be. If that makes any sense. Hello, you literally jump scared me a little bit. Oh, guy, this clearly has an issue. He only has one muscular arm. Take the combat rifle. I don't think I've really used this one before. I always go with the AK when I find it. I think we go up here. I don't know, I really like Left 4 Dead. Hopefully other people do as well. I don't know if it's watchable when you're playing with the AI. Obviously I would prefer to be playing with real players. It would be... Okay, there's definitely a tank around because there's just no zombies. Oh, I was going to say a tank or a witch, and now I hear the witch music. Oh, jockey. And a boomer. And I'm surprised the boomer didn't set off the witch. I don't know where she is. I hear the music. Is that a hunter? I don't love this rifle. There's a little bit of a stutter between firing. Is that the witch? I don't know where the witch is. Let's just run. Oh! Almost ran into her. Let's give her a wide berth, shall we? Yeah, if I hold down the fire button, it seems to fire in bursts, which I was not really expecting. I don't know. I like Left 4 Dead a lot. Hopefully you do as well. It'd be better if we had real players, both from my experience and from like the video experience, right? It'd be more entertaining if we had other players to play with. However, I don't really have a lot of friends, and I'm sure I could probably scrounge up a person or two to play Left 4 Dead, but it was a little bit spur of the moment, and I just wanted something to record. Hello, I'm reloading. Please don't hurt me. Getting a little low on HP. Please, if you would stop shooting me in the spine, I think I would be better off. Okay. I like that the flashlight follows your gun as you reload. Okay, get out of the acid, please. Avoid the noxious acid. Okay. Good advice. Head up here. I saw something odd up here. Don't know what that was. Hello, madam. Didn't we just kill you? Oh, we did. Big open space. Might be a tank or something. I do have the closed captioning turned on for a couple reasons. One, I like having subtitles in a game. And two, in Left 4 Dead, it does alert you to enemies before you see them. So, like, there might be a tank around this corner. At the bottom, it would say, like, tank growling, that sort of thing. So there is a very small benefit to having closed captioning on. Or at least that was true years ago. I don't know if that's still necessarily true. I love an AK. I hear you behind me. Protected Lewis. Yeah, I always played Francis when I was a teenager. That was my character. There were 3 of us who played a lot. My one friend was Bill because he was like he liked the old grizzled soldier types. I would love an extra HP pack, but I guess there's not going to be one. So we'll heal up before we start the horde here. And my other friend would always play Lewis. It's kind of funny and interesting because I'm sure this says something about his psychology. But my one friend, no matter what game we would play, he was this scrawny. Used to be you could jump up here. It looks like they might have added some furniture to prevent you from doing that. Used to be you could jump on top of this thing and wait out the horde up there, but I don't really see a way to do that now. So I'm guessing that was patched out. So that's great, because normally I would just sit up there, but that's fine. We'll come over here, I guess. I don't really know where to go. We'll pick up the baseball bat instead of the shovel. Yeah, my friend, he was this scrawny white kid, and no matter what game we would play, he would always play the African-American characters. Like, without, like, no matter what game it was, he was always the African-American character. And I'm sure that probably says something about him psychologically as to why that is. But, yeah, I don't know. Jockey on Bill, not great. Spitter over there. Love to kill her. You saved Bill. No, I didn't. Just keep it going. More acid is not great. I would really like to kill that Spitter. I don't know where she is. Oh, the door opened. That was actually not as long as I expected. I hear the hunter growling. Keep your eyes peeled, gents and lad. Or lass, rather. Excuse me. Zoe was a hottie, for sure. Back in 2000, I don't know, 2005, whenever this came out. 2006, maybe. Grab this. Still looking for an AK. Lots of the combat shotguns, but not really what I'm looking for. Take the M16. I haven't really used that since the first game. This was the only assault rifle in the first game. Vaguely recall it's the most accurate of the rifles in these 3 games, or in these 2 games. I don't know. Hear the chopper, of course. Hear a boomer groaning. That's what I mean. And smoker attacks. You can hear those things through the closed captioning before you can actually see them. Not that you need to min-max Left 4 Dead or anything, but whatever. Those are explosive. Oh, I hear tank music. Tank music. There he is. Yeah, I could probably drum up a person or 2 to play, but I don't know. I didn't really think about it, and it was short notice, and I don't know. People don't really play this game anymore. I remember like 6 or 8 months ago, I tried to play the first game, and I was thinking like, oh, you know, I'll find some people to play Left 4 Dead 1 with. And then when I went online, there were literally like no games of Left 4 Dead. So I think most people who would play Left 4 Dead 2, but I also think that the games have kind of fallen by the wayside and aren't exactly popular anymore. I know World War Z came out a while back. Please don't jump on my head. World War Z came out a while back, and People said that it was like Left 4 Dead, but honestly, I played like 5 minutes of it. I didn't like it very much. I could see the similarities for sure, especially in the monster types and things. Oh, well, somebody want to help me out? Just pop in here. There's no reason for us to be out there. Close the door on them. I don't care if they survive.
Come on, ladies. Everyone inside.
Zoe, my love. Get in the safe room, Zoe. Shut the door. Yeah, World War Z, it just didn't appeal to me. Number one, the book and the movie are not something that I found very appealing. I liked the book World War Z when it came out, but now I think it's actually not very good. Like once I tried to reread it, I didn't think it was very good. The movie was one of the worst. Like it was just a clear example of way overhyped, way overdone, huge budget for something that just was not very good. I watched World War Z pretty much as soon as I was able to, because I had liked the book when I was a teenager and thought it would be really good, especially because it had Brad Pitt attached to it. I'm a big fan of Brad Pitt, which, you know, take that for what you will. I know some people don't like the man, but I think he makes a lot of really good movies, and I think he's a phenomenal actor. So, yeah. I was pretty excited when the movie came out, and then it turned out to be not very good at all. In fact, it was quite bad, in my opinion, and I did not enjoy the experience. Now, it was interesting to see like such a high-budget zombie movie. It's pretty rare that you see a zombie movie with really high-quality stuff. Oh, we gotta take the katana. You don't see a lot of really high-budget zombie movies. You know, the best zombie movies tend to be smaller indie affairs. You know, 28 Days Later obviously is one of the best. I know they're technically not zombies, they're infected, whatever, but yeah, 28 Days Later is like one of the most influential, most popular, most beloved zombie movies ever made. And again, I do consider them zombies. I know they're technically not. And, you know, that didn't have a huge budget, right? It's 28 Days Later. It was, in fact, that was one of the first films ever shot entirely digitally. So looking back, it actually looks not very good by today's standards. It was in that weird place in the early 2000s where it was kind of like they were transitioning from film to digital, and a lot of the graininess was not very good. What's the other one I always think of? Whenever I think of, like, movies shot entirely digitally that kind of look not great, I always think of 28 Days Later, and what's the other one? Oh, The Collector. The Collector is a little bit torture porny for my taste, but I really liked the idea of the movie, and I thought that the suspense in that film is really, really good. I think the tension is held very highly. So yeah, digital was not in a great place back then, and you can tell when you watch 28 Days Later for sure. But that was you know, a lower budget. I mean, not low budget, but it was like not a blockbuster, right? World War Z was ton of money, ton of attention, ton of everything, star power, all kinds of stuff jammed into that. And honestly, for what it is, it's not very good, and I really was disappointed. So when I saw they were making a game, I sort of thought, like, okay, you know, it's just going to be a generic, fast zombie kind of movie. And that's essentially what it was. I didn't find the acting particularly good. I didn't find I don't know, even the effects and stuff just didn't appeal to me too much. Didn't enjoy World War Z very much. So I'm not surprised. The family dynamic in that movie is completely unrealistic. Like the way the family interacts and talks to each other, and Brad Pitt, who is normally a pretty good actor, reacting to like, oh, my family, is just pretty bad. Like meme levels of bad sometimes. So when I saw the game, I thought it would be pretty generic, World War Z, and I played it. I don't think it's necessarily bad, I just think it's unremarkable. I think it's like really basic. I don't think it was very, like, it didn't revolutionize anything. It just seemed like a rehash of things we've seen before. It just didn't speak to me, you know. Left 4 Dead, when Left 4 Dead came out, was like amazing. You know, this game captured our attention. There had really not been a lot of 4-player co-op, you know, type games, so that alone was pretty good. There had not been a lot of first-person shooter zombie games, and then that blend of those things together, the unique infected, the cool locations, the the AK. Okay, now we're in business, kids. You know, I remember looking in high school before they released Left 4 Dead. I remember looking, I hear the witch. I remember looking at photos and pre-release information for Left 4 Dead because I was super into its development and trying to pay attention to what it was going to become. And I remember sitting in school on the school computer looking at like, oh, the boomer, oh, he has all these sores and things on his body, and he vomits on you, and it summons a horde of enemies, and I just thought it was so cool. And like, oh, if you die, you come back because you're locked in a closet and your teammates can rescue you. Just was so cool.
Weapons here.
Use my katana. Shazam. This is what I mean, it makes the game a little bit too easy. Let's, oops, I meant to throw a pipe bomb and I took some pills instead. Haven't used the pipe bomb yet. Need to take a drink. I'm getting a little hoarse here. And I just thought it was so cool, and we all, of course, we bought it right away. Honestly, there wasn't. I think the 360 was a good era for video games. A lot of my favorite games came out in the 360 era. Oh, Bill, I didn't even see you getting strangled, my man. Okay. Like, I think it was a good era for video games. There's a lot of stuff I really love that came out in the 360 era. But, tank growls, spitter voice. So I'm going to jump down there. There's going to be a tank, which I don't love. Thought I heard the horde music, but we're not really seeing that. Alright, where's the tank? Just waiting for it. You know, and we were really into co-op and stuff back then, and even when we weren't playing co-op, we were playing a lot of competitive games as well. Like Gears of War had 2-player co-op and then 4-player co-op in the sequels. We played those a lot. Sorry, teammate, I thought you were a zombie. Zombie. There he is. Gotta run. Oh, I'm in sludge. You can't run in sludge. At least he went up instead of chasing us. Well, that was a pretty uneventful tank fight. Tank looks pretty good, though, for as old as the game is. Alright, I remember getting lost down here, not knowing where to go. See if we can find our way through. Definitely want to stay out of the sludge as much as possible. Just check the corridors. Going up, maybe? I don't think so. Found some bullets, though. Bullets are good. Oh, quite a lot of you out here. Oh, it's a jockey. Trying to think. I can't remember the year this came out. I do remember we played a lot of Gears of War back then. Call of Duty was really big. We played a lot of competitive Call of Duty. Again, Call of Duty did not have co-op, but it did have like special missions that you could do in co-op. And it had the competitive multiplayer, of course. Talking about Modern Warfare, Modern Warfare 2, Black Ops, the first Black Ops and stuff. We played a lot of those. All pretty good. That's a very good time in my life. I have a lot of fond memories for that era of gaming and that time spent with my as teenagers, with my guy friends playing games basically after school or before work every day. Are very fond memories of mine. They're part of the reason why I love video games so much. That's the witch. Part of the reason why I love video games so much is because I had that camaraderie and that growth, and we played in a competitive Gears of War league and all kinds of cool stuff like that. Okay, let's get by the witch without angering her, shall we? Head on up. Zoe startled the witch. Of course she did. And I, of course, am in no position to help. Zoe, climb the ladder. She's going to down you. Okay, well. We really shouldn't be up here alone. Oh, Zoe's going to die. And because we're on the ladder, we got stun locked and I can't. Okay. Face rear enemies. Well, why don't you guys clear those out instead of just standing there? Would be great. Would be great. It was such a good time in my life, you know. There were so many good games coming out. There was so much stuff. I spent a lot of time, you know, at friends' houses playing games, and we were so excited. Like, I remember when the first Dead Rising came out, we would all gather together. That was one of the launch titles for the 360, I believe. And we would gather together, and even though it was a single-player game, we would all play together all the time. You know, we would watch each other play. We would talk about the game. I remember a friend of mine's father went through a very serious surgery, and we spent a lot of time at the hospital, just kind of as you know, support for each other and whatnot. And we spent a lot of that time talking about video games. We spent a lot of that time discussing, you know, Dead Rising and our experiences and kind of the new generation of consoles. You got to understand, like, nowadays people look back and say, like, oh, the 360, you know, it's an older game that's not that significant. But by those standards back in the day, the 360 was a really great console. There was a lot of interesting... Oh, it's butt cheeks on that zombie. I never noticed that before. You know, it was a lot of really great stuff. You know, we... and even the original Xbox, you know, we had a lot of stuff that we would play a lot back then. Oh, hello, horde of zombies. I kind of like that there are zombies with the gowns, because I don't really remember that from before, and I think that's a pretty cool thing. Do these no, they just leak extinguisher gas. Oh, Jockey's riding Zoe. Go get Zoe, guys. Maybe Zoe, if you would keep up with the group instead of walking around like an idiot, we wouldn't have this issue. I don't know. I have so many fond memories of gaming from back then. The 360 is one of my favorite consoles of all time. I know that a lot of people my age have a lot of nostalgia for the PlayStation and for like PS1, PS2, Nintendo, Sega. N64 is a big one. A lot of people really like the N64. But I didn't have those experiences. You know, I grew up pretty poor. We had a Sega when I was a very young lad. My goodness, that's inaccurate at range when you're going full auto, unsurprisingly. We had a Sega when I was growing up, but we were poor, so we didn't have very many games. You know, I knew a lot of kids who had Nintendos, and their parents, you know, would play it as well, and they would buy, like, game after game after game for their kids because they also played it. But I didn't really have that life experience. And yeah, the PlayStation we had a little bit, but we mostly rented games, so I didn't get to play very many games because, you know, again, we were poor. We didn't have a lot of money to go out and rent games all the time. For those of you too young to remember, see, there was a thing where you would rent video games. It was called a Blockbuster, and you would go out or to your neighborhood video store or whatever, and you would pay them to borrow a game or a movie for a period of time. I know it's a completely foreign concept to young people at this point in, you know, in 2020, but yeah, that was a thing that existed back then. And when I think back to the PlayStation and stuff, there aren't that many games that really hold a lot of nostalgia for me. It's mostly just Grand Theft Auto and Siphon Filter was like the other big one that I played on the PlayStation 1. I have a lot of nostalgia for Sega games, and then I would say in like 99 and 2000 is when I started to PC game. So a lot of the PC games from around that time are nostalgic for me. Let's stand in this corner. I believe will insulate us from the breakable walls here. So like Deus Ex is one of the most formative like games that had a big impact on me as a gamer and my tastes in video games. Trying to think of what else. Sorry about that. Trying to think of what else. It's been I haven't recorded in a while, so I'm very twitchy, and I feel like I'm not doing a very good job of giving commentary. Sorry about that. I'm a little out of practice. It's been a couple months really since I've done much recording. Like Deus Ex is the big one. Alien vs Predator. They're kind of from that same era. So this is pretty cool that we can stand on this and not be affected by the acid. I remember previously the acid would have some issues with Z levels or with elevation in this direction. What else was a big one? Alien vs Predator had a pretty big impact on my taste in video games. I liked a lot of strategy games back then. You know, like most kids, I played Age of Empires and Age of Wonders and all those kind of like turn-based or real-time strategy games. I played a lot of Warlords Battle Cry. A lot of the stuff, if you can look at my channel and look at the older games we've played and talked about, those are kind of the games that stick with me. Played a lot of NetHack and a lot of that, you know, free PC game stuff. But yeah, my gaming career has been long, and I have a lot of different tastes in what I think are good games and bad games. Left 4 Dead is definitely up there. It's not the best game I ever played, but, you know, it was one that was important to me and did hold some sway over, you know, what I came to think of as a good game. 4-player co-op became pretty common in video games, or at least more common than it used to be. So I can't seem to crouch. I think I auto-crouch when I walk up to things. I don't love that. Oh, it's bound to control. I hate when games bind to control. You should be using the C key to crouch, and if you use control, then you're a scrub. And I really value co-op games. I think that nowadays everything is competitive multiplayer, and I actually really hate it. Everything right now is battle royales, you know, competitive. Like, so I really like Escape from Tarkov. I think the gunplay in that game is some of the best I've ever seen in a video game. I was going to try to Toro him off the roof, but that did not work. Like, Escape from Tarkov has some of the best gun feel of any video game I've ever played in all of my gaming career. And I really enjoy the gameplay, I enjoy the looting, I enjoy the feeling of loss when you die and you lose all your equipment. I really love everything about Tarkov except for the fact that you can only play online. If it were a game that had bots, I would be willing to pay like $100, honestly, for a game like Tarkov that, if it was had an AI offline progression mode where like you could only play offline with the stuff that you had, because, you know, obviously you don't want to saturate the multiplayer version with, you know, items you could farm in single player. But like, honestly, if they made a single player or PvE version of Tarkov, I would just throw money at them. That game is so good. I just hate competitive multiplayer, and it's like a really hardcore shooter where you have to invest quite a lot of time to get pretty good at it. And to memorize all the different controls and learn like the best ammo types and all that. There's a lot of like hardcore aspects of it that make it difficult to approach for a player like me who doesn't have, you know, hours and hours and hours to play a game. And everything is multiplayer focused now, you know. Tarkov was designed for PvP. They've said that they're never going to make a PvE, which I think is a little bit of a mistake. I think they're alienating some people who would buy their game and stuff. But ultimately it is their game and they get to make that decision. Zoe, that's the second time you got downed by a witch. I really wish you would just stay away from her, because I just murdered a poor lady in her underwear, and that makes me feel kind of weird. And I don't like that. I don't like that, Zoe. But everything's competitive multiplayer. Everything right now is battle royales. It's definitely like the trend of the 2010s was battle royales. And they're still very popular. They are gradually fading away. They're becoming less popular, but you know, it seems like every year there's at least one big one that comes up. Zoe, let me heal you. Because I might get an achievement for it or something. Alrighty. On the plus side, I believe this is the finale, which means there should be more health kits ahead. You know what? We'll hang on to this for when we actually need it. Grab some ammo. I think this is the last level. Yeah, everything's competitive multiplayer. Wow, the screen is a little choppy. I don't know what's going on with that. Everything's competitive multiplayer. I just don't like competitive multiplayer. I like games that are PvE, and I like bots. I know that that's a product of me being a kid from the 90s, because like nowadays people look down on anyone who plays with bots. But like most of the time, I would rather play bots than real players. Like when I bought Rocket League a couple years ago, my goal was just to play Rocket League offline with bots. That's 100% why I bought the game. And then I got in the game and the bots were like the worst bots of any video game ever. Like your teammates would take it all the way from the enemy goal to your own goal and score their own, like they'll score an own goal. Really for no reason other than because the AI is really bad. And it was very frustrating as someone who bought the game just for the AI. And I remember when I bought it, I played against the AI. I played, you know, maybe a couple hours, but it was very frustrating that the AI was always a ball chaser and your teammates would score your own goals against you. And I got pretty frustrated and I put the game down and didn't play it for like 2 years. And then I started playing it online because I remembered how bad the bots were. And like 2 years later, I was like, oh, I'll give it a shot. So I went and played it online, and it was super fun, and I had a really good time playing online. But I don't know, I just don't like competitive games most of the time. I was really surprised with Rocket League. I think Rocket League was just like a really good idea and a really good game. So I think that canceled out the fact that like I had to play with other people. Plus, I will say Rocket League is extremely toxic. There's a lot of really nasty people in Rocket League. Okay, so they changed the layout of this too. There used to be a closet right here that we would hide in to fight the horde, because we could put our backs against the wall and just hide in a closet. So they clearly got rid of that, which is interesting. So they have made changes to this game, or at least to the maps after porting them into Left 4 Dead 2. All right, let's start this, kick this baby off. In fact, let's heal, because we might as well be at full health for the horde. Probably should have done this before activating the radio, but that's okay. Where were the health kits? They upstairs? I thought I just saw some health kits. There we go. So we'll hang out up here. I guess we'll pop on the turret. I never use the turrets in these games. Might as well. Minigun spin down. Great. I don't know. I don't like competitive multiplayer, especially shooters and stuff. Like I grew up playing Unreal Tournament and Quake 3 and games where you would play deathmatch with bots all the time. The only time I really like competitive multiplayer is like realistic shooters. You know, I played a lot of Rainbow Six Vegas when that came out. A lot of Call of Duty over the years. Big fan of Call of Duty over the years. I played Warzone a fair bit when Warzone came out. Really enjoyed that, but I always felt like because I was playing alone. Oh, I didn't even notice it was a boomer. Good job. Let's throw a pipe bomb to distract the enemy. I played Warzone a fair bit when it came out. I kind of missed the boat on Fortnite. I don't really like Fortnite. It's a little cartoony, a little silly. I don't like those kind of games. I like realistic shooters, you know, something where the guns feel good and enemies die in a few bullets, that kind of thing. It's part of the reason why I didn't play Warzone more, was that you have that shield system that you have in most battle royales. I prefer like Call of Duty multiplayer where you can shoot a guy, you know, once in the head and they die and that's it. Okay, I hear the tank music. Just gotta identify where the tank is coming from. Okay. Don't really know. Oh, there he is. Please don't throw that at me. Okay. Oh, he's climbing? I thought he was dead. Thought it was a weird ragdoll thing. Oh. Well, that, I don't know if the AI can actually save me. Kind of, a bummer that we got punted so far. And instantly down. Anytime that you go off a ledge, you're instantly downed. Which is, not great. I don't know if they killed the tank or if the tank is still coming. But we would like to get back to where we kind of had a fortified-ish position. Hello, zombies. Okay, so we'd like to get back over here. This is where all these supplies are. Use your sword. Oh, oh. Okay. This is a crescendo, I believe is what they call these situations at the end of these matches where you have the whole hordes coming and you kind of are waiting for evac. I believe they call that the crescendo. A lot of Left 4 Dead language is based on like movie language. I mean, obviously crescendo is musical, but like this is the climax of the story, of course, and they're all framed in the mindset of like this is a movie. That's why they kind of match movie stereotypes. Like zombies in a hospital is kind of a stereotype of cinema. Always like that about Left 4 Dead. And then at the end they give the credits where they give you all your stats and stuff. Zoe, no. Can't let Zoe die. She's the cutest one. Everyone knows you can't let the cute one die. Okay. Hang out. This barbed wire doesn't seem to be real. Okay, maybe we can get the tank with the minigun. Someone want to kill the zombie behind me? No? Okay, thanks. Thanks for that. Just waiting on the tank. Maybe we can kill it before it gets over here. Would be great. Nope. Okay. Hopefully we don't get punched across the rooftop this time. Kind of annoyed that it attacked me when there were other enemies that were closer. But that's fine. See you over there, Spitter. Oh, is this broken? Oh, Chopper's here. So let's get on the Chopper. And ignore all the enemies. Because that's the best way to do this. Oh, I hear a Hunter, which would be a bad thing right now. Smoker as well. Get on the evac. Alright. Actually had to wait for the AI, which is unusual. I thought it instant left when all the players got on. Oh, Left 4 Dead. Man, I had a hard time giving commentary in this episode. It's been a while since I really recorded, and I feel like I just rambled like a crazy person. Which, yeah, it's pretty unusual. I don't usually feel that way. Usually I feel like I manage to have something coherent to talk about, but today I'm feeling a little off. I recorded an experimental Cataclysm video earlier, and it also came across a little bit too rambly, and I kind of felt like an idiot, but sometimes I feel that way. I think it's just a self-conscious thing. I don't know. Let's have a look at how many enemies we killed. 0 deaths. Great. I was incapacitated 0 times. I guess falling doesn't count. Which I find a bit silly that wouldn't count, but okay. 17 melee kills. I guess the AI doesn't use melee weapons, which is... I mean, I guess probably is for a good reason. They probably would be too spammy and stuff. I don't know. Alright, well this is getting boring. Alright, so everybody, thanks so much for watching. 486 common infected killed. There you go. So everybody, that's probably going to do it for this episode. I don't know if we're going to play more Left 4 Dead. It was really just something I thought like, oh, it'll be fun to try something different. and put up on the channel. But for now, that's it. So thanks so much for watching. Hopefully you had a good time, and I, of course, will be back with something else in the near future. For now, that's it. See you next time.